quiet.
What was it that they were called when they started coming to you? The Midnight Poets, or
What about the Midnight Poets?
Yeah. Yes, which of course it's 11 p.m. now, but then sometimes we have the daylight savings overlap and it changes even further. But you all are with us for midnight when midnight rolls around. So I feel like Midnight Poets still applies.
Still sunshine coming through your blind.
I know it stays light late here. It does. We've, not
It's
that
only
long
about
ago.
5 or 6 there, isn't it?
Yes, it's 5:01 right at this very moment, and we are streaming live, and I am sharing it to the Patreon.
it is 87 degrees in Maine. How hot is it in Nashville, Ms. Hall?
Oh gosh.
Are you at 100?
No, we just had a huge thunderstorm, and actually one of my 2 peach trees fell down in this thunderstorm this afternoon. So it's pretty cool right here. I'd say upper 80s, probably about where you are.
Does it snap, or is it just?
It did snap. It was too heavy with the fruit for all of the wind and rain, so it snapped, unfortunately.
Could you rescue any of the fruit and use it for anything?
Yes, I already brought 4 of the best looking ones inside, but I have to go visit. I didn't have enough time before this.
Now, can you take the peach wood and use it for smoking or something?
That sounds lovely. It's an option. We'll see. My brother's going to come help me tomorrow. My partner's working in Atlanta for the next 2 months, so it's, we have to configure this correctly. It's a very large, very heavy tree with lots of fruit.
How old is it?
It's only about 5 years old, but it is a wild variety that is quite well acclimated and grows very quickly.
How long did it take to produce fruit? Doesn't it usually take 2 or 3 years before they start producing? Or?
Yeah, but these varieties, it's been 3 years max. I've grown quite a few of them already.
Well, when I was a kid, we used to stop between Montgomery and Birmingham. There was this really big peach. The Chilton County, Alabama peaches are really well known, and there was this exit for Clanton, Alabama, and they had Durban Farms, which was this gigantic fruit stand. And we go there to get the peaches, plums, and nectarines. You bite into. They were tree ripened, so you bite into it, and it would be like all the juice would fall down in your face. It was just the best stuff in the world.
Oh, indeed. Oh, I've made myself sick on peaches that I've came across in the country.
And my mom would make Bisquick peach cobbler.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, Bisquick is not a horrible thing.
No, it has its uses. Absolutely. It doesn't everything.
You ever had the magic coconut pie?
Wow. Magic coconut pie?
Yeah, it's made with Bisquick. There's no crust. It just sort of everything sort of just fills into the thing. You just cut it up. Sort of like almost like pudding, but it's it's got flour in it, but there's no real crust to it.
No, I don't, but I love experimenting with pies. I was looking at the water pies and vinegar pies recently. I personally like the lemon cream pies where you just have to mix lemon juice with the condensed milk. That is my style.
Oh, wow.
I like a lemon chess pie and all that stuff.
Yes.
I
want to say hello and welcome to everybody that I was working on the live stream. Richard is here. Hello, welcome. Angelina, thank you for joining us tonight. A friend of Carl. So glad you're here. Clive is here too. I think I've said hi to everybody, but we've got Linda and Tim and Henry and Rhoda and Clive and Angelina and Richard and Carl and Generalissimo Brian Franco and Abigail Waddle. Thank you so much for being here. Richard, I do believe that you may want a spot on the list. I'm hoping so. Might I please add you? Okay, cool. So I'll put you on standby. I'm going to go ahead and drop in what I have for a list, but I've got to say, most folks haven't shown yet. So just be aware that you're going to come up way quicker than what you might have been thinking. But I will just keep everybody on the list so that if they do show and when they do show, we can just say hello. Okay, here we go. And Michael Sindler's here, hooray. Okay. And hitting enter on that list. There we go. Did we make, okay, so yeah, all right. I have some corrections to make already, but that's where we started. So as we can see, Generalissimo, welcome Michael Sindler. And as we can see, Generalissimo will be starting us because Davey isn't here yet. And then we'll hear from Mike. Fatima and Dee are not here, but Henry is. Thomas isn't here. Serge isn't. Clive is. Caroline, not yet. Tim is. Hi, Carl is. And then, so Finn Bell isn't feeling well, and we had Linda come in on standby. So we'll do Linda there. And then we've got Rhoda and I think until we get to Abigail.
Got Tim. So.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
I say that? I think I did.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, I feel like I did. Okay.
Sorry.
I said it very loudly in my mind. Okay,
You know
no,
what? You know what I really need?
Hi,
I need some good humor. So I think Clive should go first.
Oh, do we want it? How does Clive feel about that?
I'll go wherever. I'm not particularly keen on going first, but if
Well, then not-
There,
that's
there
what-
may be latecomers who would be crushed by missing it, though.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
you're
really-
right.
well, not
That's
the
why so if I get to go first, nobody cares. So that's wonderful.
You have
This
beautiful
is getting
humor.
worse and worse.
Yes, Brian, we are expendable.
Thank you. It's
And,
easier.
and we're going to put Richard
It's
on
very easy
standby
being
too, because
expendable.
yeah.
That way, you know.
All right. Okay. So hi, I'm your host, Christine Hall. This is Poetry in the Brew. Oh my goodness gracious. I am so happy you've made it because this show is what you make it. We are going to get started right now with some poetry from the most delightful Generalissimo Brian Franco. Thank you.
See this little dent right here in my head? I believe that when I was a baby, my brother Alan, he wasn't allowed to hold the baby, but you know, my father was babysitting, and Alan went in there and he picked me up and dropped me on the ground, and this was the result of that. But my father said that wasn't true, but I really believe it was. He's just protecting me. So I'm going to have three brand new poems that I wrote this afternoon in the Tumble Words workshop, and everyone should go to Tumble Words every Saturday afternoon. It's such a great workshop series. And none of these have titles yet. The first one, what if a tree could will itself out of the ground to a new location? If a couple were picnicking under it on a nice plaid blanket and one of them said, I'd like a tree like this in my yard. If the tree could telepathically get the address of that person while she were eating a lemon square and drinking some chilled Earl Grey tea. And the next morning when she walked out to get the paper, there was the tree under which she had a picnic with her fiance the previous day in her front yard. What would she think? Would she walk inside to grab a pen, some coffee, and her plaid picnic blanket, then read the paper and do the jumble and crossword puzzle, then call her fiance to bear witness to a miracle as if she had a genie grant her a wish? But alas, as much as trees wish they could will themselves to new locales, their roots ground their existence. Poem number 2. There once was a tree who had a bird build a nest in it. The tree asked the bird if it had a mate. He said, there's this chick I've known for a while who's unattached. This bird was from a species that was monogamous for life. That's nice. I look forward to meeting her, said the tree. The bird then said, cross your fingers. She says, yes. When she moved in, the tree said, I've always wanted a house with a family of birds. Always wanted to house a family of birds. They had 5 babies who called the tree Uncle Acorn. He told them that there was plenty of room on his other branches when they were ready to leave the nest. To his dismay, when the baby birds learned to fly, they found other trees and other forests to build their nest. He was saddened by their absence. Mama Bird told him, I'm sorry, Uncle Acorn, but the bird world has set in stone rules that when birds learn to fly, they must leave the nest and find other trees. But every November, they returned for Thanksgiving with their families and stayed in guest nests Papa Bird built in the over 200-year-old oak tree. And everyone called the tree Uncle Acorn. And finally, When I was young, I was shy and awkward. I was uncoordinated and athletic. I had learning and motor disabilities. When I was young, other kids constantly tarred and feathered me with their words. I made friends along the way with other awkward kids who knew about being tarred and feathered. When we became teens, we continued to be tarred and feathered, but became immune to the tar because all the buildup over the years started chipping away from our identities and created a barrier from words that were designed to cause scars. We discovered that when all the tar chipped away, there were no scars, but an unmistakable glow of fuck you-ism that all the tar the bullies wasted their allowances on created no scars. And they would eventually realize they were bullies, who would have to witness their children become bullies because they could not erase being a bully from their identities. Thank you. I will put everything that's coming up in the chat and how you can buy my book. Gracias, everyone.
Bravo, Generalissimo Brian Franco. Thank you so much for starting us off so marvelously tonight. We appreciate you and your singular voice, which speaks into multitudes. Okay. So you all see the modified list order that we're operating under as folks arrive. Welcome, Ed Poetastic. Glad to have you with us. We next welcome, thank you so much, Mike Sindler.
Hello, great to be back. So glad you're doing this again. We missed you so much when you were gone. And I will, as always, say, go check out lighthouseriders.org. Do it, damn it, do it. If you haven't done it by now, I don't know what's wrong with you. I've been doing this for 2 years. I'll start out with one that's fairly recent and kind of sad. It's called A Tragedy of Destiny. I am that which you claim to love. I am that which you destroy, tearing at me, gulping down my heart in expectation it will grow again, grinding my bones, asking me to cradle you in my fragile yet weighty arms. I am that which you take for granted, lost in your desire, lost in your dreams, using me to further your means. No thought given to my preservation, little care expended on consequence, more insensitive than innocence. And yet I cannot help but give, to be provender for your animal pursuits, to be bestower though you would be overthrower, to be both feed and fuel, to wish you wise though you be fool. I leave clue after clue to help you see fallacy of thought and purpose, yet still you ignore. Punish me for being the one true constant, unable to yield to fantasy, unable to withstand all that you would desire of me. I, the one true source of love, yet you are no lover, unable to recognize, guide, mentor, friend, or mother. You wear me down, expecting more, oblivious to the grievous wounds too deep and grave to heal, rendered thoughtlessly as a suckling babe biting nipple, left exposed yet unseen, your blinkered sight fixed only on self-satisfaction. Soon I will succumb, and with me, you as well will fail. Both brought to ruin needlessly, all could be better. If only you could see that even more than I need you, you need me. I've tried to be all you would have of me, but you have made a tragedy of destiny. And this is one that's a little bit more positive. Anybody who knows Denver very well knows that we have Colfax Avenue, which is the longest main street in America, and it's a total trip. And half of that 26 miles is the 16 bus, but the other half is the 15 bus, which is quite a trip to say the least. Not that the 16 isn't, but the 15 is always an adventure. And this is called Theater 15. The 15 bus is living theater, improv, performance, tragic comedy. The veteran in flag decorated wheelchair, tiny emotional support dog peeks from inside half zip jacket. The trio in hard-worn work clothes, weeks-old vests crusted with grime, wide smiles, joking in Spanglish, toolboxes wedged between heavy leather boots. How many drunks this ride? How many junkies? Who will be the raging one, bursting level full of frustration, screaming at hapless driver just doing their job? Easy to pick out the tourists, slack-jawed and effortlessly amazed, straining towards smudged windows, rubbernecking while shrinking away from unsavory local seatmates. Slump-shouldered, exhausted elders jostled fragile frames perched on walkers, young mothers dragging folded strollers, babies cradled precariously on one arm. Each stop, a new cast member's entrance and another performer's exit towards some cryptic, dogged, or daring pursuit. The show never stops nor ceases to astound, just reverses direction and begins another act. I'm going to do one more tiny one. And this is what everyone always needs, which is another WCW haiku. I ate your damn plums. Those cold suckers were tasty. Oops, my bad, I guess. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Mike Sindler. Oh, with the evocative invocations and the totality of that emotional journey. Thank you so much. And also, I have to say, you spurred my memory on the haiku, and I would like to extend the invitation to all of you to apply for the Tomato Haiku Fest. Well, Tomato Art Fest, excuse me. I've been trying to take over the whole thing with poetry. It is the Tomato Art Fest Haiku Contest. But it's a blast. We do it in Nashville every year, but the contest is open to anyone around the world who might want to come up with a tomatoey haiku. So check us out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's on our blog, poetryinthebrew.wordpress.com, or you can just email tomato haiku contest, tomato haiku contest @gmail. Okay. Yes. Yay. Oh, and more poetry. Let me go back to the abbreviated list up here. Let us see. Oh, goodness gracious. We are honored and grateful to welcome now to the mic, Henry L. Jones.
Yeah, I knew with this new list that would happen. How you guys doing? It is great to be back. All right, I'm going to start with 3 poems. One was recently accepted for publication for the Word Peace Journal. It's about the Ukraine war. That's the whole theme of that journal. This poem is titled Old Wounds, New Wounds for Ukraine. The Russian bombs exploded outside, making my windows wildly rattle like angry wind chimes in a windstorm. Glass broke and flew toward my face, making me jump up and under the kitchen table, holding onto its legs like a frightened child, tightly grasping for mother's calves. Instead, I was alone, as gray clouds seeming to descend from the skies drifted inside, covering me with ash. I coughed out the smell of burned wire. I imagined my mother's hairy bird legs, which ran away with us together. She'd lift me up, hold me tightly, and run, as I felt her warmth and heard her clicking heels on cobblestones, looking for a place for us to hide and wait. This is what I did then, hid and waited, remembering the perfume in her skirt, which smelled like the wild flowers growing along Lake Yawpoo's shore, where I played and felt safe. I could feel her strong arm holding me, preventing me from being washed away. Now, instead, I smelled the pungent aroma of burnt rubber, flesh, and wood. And the screams from outside. I don't like this feeling. I am alone. Holding these mahogany table legs, death's cold tibia bones, like a frightened child looking for reassuring eyes would say, Everything's going to be fine. Then I'd smile, believing those words, take a deep breath, and sleep all night. But I'm no longer that child. Nights of peace are broken. I heard people calling out. They were looking for survivors. My dry throat whispered, I'm alive. Save me in here. Then able to shout louder, I'm alive in here. I'm alive. Save me. And kept screaming and screaming and screaming. That's all I could do, wanting this war or me to end. This next one, thank you. This next one, I just finished a project with, I was a Converge poet, which is part of for the Fort Negley master plan. Fort Negley is a fort from the Civil War, one of the largest fortifications here in Nashville, it's just about south of Nashville. And I and Siona Roos, we were selected to go to the fort with all these different events that were related to the master plan, which is a renovation project. And we were, as poets, we were to vibe, let's say, with the history of the fort, because there were some reenactments and all these other things, interact with guests, and then write poetry. And we did, and there were some presentations. It was a pretty good thing. Met a lot of wonderful people, and of course, heard a lot of stories. So I have 2 poems I like to share with you from that project. And let's give me a second. Here we go. I hate to do this on the computer. One second, guys. Here we go. Give my, it's not popping up. Here we go, sorry. The first poem is titled, Not So Civil, the Color Gray. No, that's not the one I want. This is, We Fight to Win, Fort Negley Incident. We fight to win, nothing else matters. Your right is my wrong. Our bloodshed is voiceless as it flows, forming 2 rivers. Redemption is lost in our screams, bodies piled like kindling, awaiting the reaper to collect bones and dry for his fireplace in hell. Forsaken souls reach for relief. No one told them the fire burned so deeply, it still felt centuries later. Lost in the fury of what you believe, one side to free a nation of shame, one side to fill a nation with fear. Both leave tracks of blood, footprints wanting to walk back home, weak but still stumbling to achieve glory. War games played without sticks and stones, soldiers realize memories of home will fade as they slip away to meet dead loved ones. Tightly grasping the sacred black powder which eclipses the sight of peace, stuffed into a barrel with a message. Let the lead weigh down the bodies. Keep them dead if we keep shooting. Our thunder sent across tall grass. We fight to win, nothing else matters. Your right is my wrong. Freedom's sacrifice is still being paid, written on history's crimson pages. And the last one, Not So Civil, the Color Gray, a day at Fort Negley. Gray is a mixture of black and white, swirled together, awaiting a brush to paint onto canvas as a muted sky, awaiting a storm to drench the world with the tears from the Civil War as many died not afraid of your rebel yell, or the fury in your eyes awaiting our blades, as you drowned in a pool of bloodshed, some awaiting redemption were baptized in that pool wearing cotton gray uniforms, later to become white hooded robes, riding horses and igniting crosses to cause fears to tremble into bones. Gray is a mixture of blood and tears, twisted together enslaving a nation to chain up lives as cursed chattel, praising a world of brutal slavery, greedy eyes lusting for more free labor, ravished chained flesh seized for relief. Blue coats fought until they saw the sun as the thick clouds parted into the skies. Sunny day revealed corpse of soldiers who fought to darken this country with a cross-boned flag of fear, but gray lost as old glory waved in the wind, pointing to a new way. Thank you.
Ariel Jones. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That is such important work you've produced. I'm so grateful for the wise choice that they made to ask of you and Sienna Rouse to produce this poetry for this purpose, for this project. And yeah, as fitting with your other work, delves so deeply into subjects that need to be explored and probed for healing and transformation. Powerful. Thank you. Oh, goodness gracious. Next, we welcome with great thanks, Richard Spisak.
Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me okay. And despite my normal sarcastic and heavy work, I wanted to bring something a little lighter in honor of our summer that's passing so quick. I brought two quick short ones. This called Ice Cream on a Summer Night. It's ice cream month, so enjoy the thought of such ancient pleasure, mouth memory ne'er forgot, by cone or bowl as down the sides the droplets roll, cool and tangy or sharp sherbet spangly, with frosty ice from some half-closed slid, that down the spoon and onto the lips, kid. Does your favorite come in threes, like those triplets on a summer evening breeze, 1, 2, 3, vanilla, chalk, and strawberry, or more exotic, pistachio be? Are you for the crunchy cone sitting there on the couch alone, plain or sprinkled is your fave, or down the side deep chocolate poured to savor? Go ahead, try another flavor. But if you've enjoyed this vaporous virtual wish, go ahead, have another dish. And then this, having gone to a cool place, I'm now going to go to a dark place. Behind me is a view from that new satellite, the new telescope, the Webb telescope. This is called Deep in Space. Deep in space and back in time, it seems somehow almost to rhyme. We've got a new look, deeper yet. It's almost as if we somehow forget how much is out there, the cosmic comic book, as we stare at our feet almost stuck in the soil or more mired in muck, as if that were the extent of our luck. Yet sometimes as we scan the skies, it can definitely startle and open our eyes that we might to a higher shelf aspire instead of dropping in the flopping mire. This first deep field shot of S-Max 0723, known to most as the starry stuff we see, a near infrared view like a speck of sand at an arm length viewed. We, with our clumsy techno artifacts, our fresh vision wisdom renewed as we check these tracks. A million galaxies spinning so far off, Webb's NERCam scanning across the broad frequency gathers up the philosophical feast, the artist's cup. We glimpse 4.6 billion years ago, an evening's entertainment and sweet love's afterglow.
Richard Spisak, thank you. Oh, magnificent insights spiked with joy and wow, yes, so clever your artistry. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you so much.
Oh, hooray! So glad we got to hear that. Wow, the balance that is struck in the realm of poetry. Thank you all for contributing to this. We next welcome, with great thanks, Clive Oseman.
Hello. Okay, I've got nothing new, unfortunately. Obviously, I've got my one-man show at the moment, which I'm working on. I'm doing that in Bristol on Tuesday, so I'm just rehashing some old stuff, I'm afraid. So some of you will have heard them. Not too many, though, I don't think. The first one is very short, and it's called Water State of Affairs. I've got a goldfish in a bowl. I've got a frog in the pond. I've got a barge on the canal, and that dinghy belongs to me. But because of the state of my boat race, there are not many fish in the sea. So that's that one. And for those who don't know, boat race is obviously rhyming slang for face. So yeah, so that's that one. And the second one is even more ridiculous. I wrote this a while ago, but didn't perform it much because it was written at a time when I was writing a lot of stuff on very similar theme. So this one sort of got forgotten, and so I've resurrected it. I have done it a few times recently, so one or two of you have heard it, but it's called Internet. What is it with the internet? It makes me think the world's gone mad. Facebook wars, stupid questions, spam and scam. I like to reply to potential scams in a ridiculous way, and I really do this, by the way. Like yesterday, I received an email from someone calling themselves Ethan, which simply said, "Did you receive the email I sent you about 2 hours ago?" And this was my reply. "Dear Ethan, yes I did, thank you. I apologise for the tardiness of my reply. I usually reply to strangers very quickly. My personal best is 17.92 seconds, though this is disputed because I had a strong wind behind me. My average is 39.26 seconds. It used to be better than that, but I didn't quite know how to respond to the email from the ghost of Frank Sinatra. In this case, the delay was caused by my computer bursting into flames when I opened the email. And then trying to escape the flames, I fell down the stairs I haven't got and landed on the burglar who had just gained entry. The police took a while to arrive. I'm so sorry. I would have used my smartphone, but it was having a day off and wearing a jeans and t-shirt. Do you know, Ethan is Old English for Satan? No, neither do I. Anyway, I have a question to ask you. Are you by any chance distantly related to Rudyard Kipling? I know that may seem a rather random question, but I have a badge which says I've met a relative of Rudyard Kipling, and being an honest kind of guy, I can't wear it until I have. Right, now I've got that out of the way, you no doubt want to know my password. When you provide evidence of your relationship with Rudyard and send me a packet of fucking kiss my ass, you bastard, I'll get back to you. Power to the penguins. And then, of course, there is this plethora of pointless questions being posed on Facebook that are all answered in all sincerity by total strangers to the original poster, bearing their soul to the world. Oh, fuck that. To the question, why are you still single? I replied, because I stink. And I have an enormous nose. The size of the hooter is not in itself a major issue, but it's considered weird renting out my right nostril to holidaymakers. Body tourism, it's called. Visiting unusually large body parts, or parts which are appropriately named in relation to the person they belong to. This week they rent my right nostril, next week the arsehole of Nigel Farage. Never, ever the other way round. Oh no. The look of disbelief on your faces tells me you can never rent out your bodily places, and that's your loss, not mine. It beats working on the production line. I don't have to work and I'm doing just fine. But yes, the real problem is that I stink. Gentlemen looking for lady for long-term relationship must have good sense of humour, be related in some way to Rudyard Kipling, have no sense of smell, and be willing to tolerate tenants up his nostrils. Is not a good profile for plenty of fish. I think they think I'm a lunatic. Oh well, who needs love anyway? Thank you very much.
Yay, Clive Oseman! Oh, I have a true taste for the ridiculous, and your execution of it is scrumptious. And I love how humor touches nerves that might otherwise remain unexposed. Thank you so much for that, Clive Osman. Next. Oh, thank you so much, and welcome, Tim Evans.
Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. It's really great to see you people again. Been a bit out of the loop for a while. We're just starting to come back into like live stuff in Swansea. You know, we've been out for like 2.5 years, and I've been zoomed out of my brains really. So it's really great to see you guys again. Okay, the one I'm gonna read is one that I wrote a while back. If you go on the long-term sick in Britain, you've got to fill in these forms, right, to get any benefits. But the forms are so long and so complex, they are deliberately designed to make you give up and decide to live on cheese and cornflakes. In fact, I probably need to update this one because it's probably even worse because now you probably got to do the whole thing online. But anyway, this one's called Do You Want Some? Which, where I used to live in Portsmouth, usually meant, do you want a smack in the face? But which is like what these forms were like, you know. So it's, do you want some? Someone from our office will be coming to see you soon about your benefits. For your protection, all our visiting staff carry an identity card. Ask to see it. The visitor will need to check a number of things to make sure that you're getting the right amount of benefit. Do not worry if you do not have all the things. But please get as many as you can so that there's no further delay in calculation and payment of your benefit entitlement. You must fill in the tear-off part of this form each week to tell us about anything that has changed. If anything changes and you do not tell us, you might get the wrong amount of money and you could be breaking the law. If you are not sure if we need to know, please tell us anyway. Tell us everything. Tell us about yourself. Are you pregnant? What date is the baby due? Are you getting disability living allowance? How much do you get? Are you getting it once a week? Are you getting it once a month? Are you getting it regular? Are you getting hospital treatment? Do you get a fit or something similar at least once a month? What do you need? Who is it for? Tell us their name. What do you need? Who is it for? Tell us his name. If they're applying for cost of replacement of an item, please say what happened to the old item. Who do you need? What is it for? Tell us his name. Do you feel a fit or something similar coming on? Can you see the shape of furniture in a room? Can you tell light from dark? Do strangers understand what you say? Do your family and friends understand what you say? Can you understand someone talking in a normal voice on a busy street? Can you understand someone talking in a loud voice in a quiet room? Can you tie a bow in string? Can you walk up and down one step? Can you raise one arm to your head as if to put on a hat? Can you clap without using your left hand? Can you tell light from dark? We need to know how much it'll cost. We need to know how much it'll cost. We know where you live. Do you have a problem? Do you have a problem speaking? Do you have a problem hearing? Do you want one? Do you want some? Do you have a problem? Can you stand unassisted? Are you going to a funeral? Do you have a problem bending or kneeling? Do you lose control of your bladder at least once a month? Do you lose control of your bowels at least once a month? Please show us how often in the box below. Do you need help because someone needs your care and support? This person might have a mental illness. Please tell us about this person, their name, their address, their relationship to you. Why do they need your care and support? Do you need help because of very difficult problems? Please tell us why things are so very difficult. Tell us about the pain you feel while you're doing day-to-day things. Can you pick up a 2p coin with either one of your hands? Can you pick up a pound coin with either one of your hands? Can you pick up a welfare check? I bet. I said, I bet. Tell us about your partner. Does he need help? Is he away from work because of a trade dispute? Was it a strike? Was it a walkout? Was it a lockout? Were there picket lines? Did he love you? Was he breaking the law? Does he have a problem? Do you understand what he says? What does he need? How much does he get? Where does he live? Who does he love? Does he want some? Tell us his name. Someone will be coming to see you very soon about your benefit entitlement. For your protection, ask to see their identity card. Okay, guys, thank you. That was that was very therapeutic when I wrote it, and it's still therapeutic now. Okay, cheers. Thanks for listening.
Ah, Tim Evans, thank you. Stunning. Ah, the righteous indignation. I love your take, calling out the invasive audacities. Thank you so much, Tim Evans. Let us see now. Welcome, welcome, and thank you so much, Carl Lowe.
Thank you. First poem I've got, it's called Springtime in Tennessee. It makes reference to the fact that one of the last places I lived in Alabama was this place with a huge yard and just amazing fireflies at night at a certain time of the year when it felt like 1,000 fireflies were out there lighting up the trees. And since I moved to Tennessee, the place I live now, there's maybe 6 or 7 at the most. So the poem kind of makes reference to that. And it's about dreams I had once I moved to Tennessee. So this is called Springtime in Tennessee. My dreams last night had me making my way to a mysterious appointment. And as I turn a corner, strange type of snake crawls past me. It was huge, but unthreatening, theatrical, mechanical, but alive at the same time, a symbol of, it's unclear what it was a symbol of. I know that it was spit forth from a hidden part of me that's trying to communicate, in its own poetic style, with content that subsumes layers of meaning that my internal dream creator clings to obsessively. That part of me that builds these dream messages fears banality, chains itself to surreal abstractions that beg for interpretation, that skate on a thin layered mosaic of ambiguities, daring me to put the full weight of my psyche against its tenuous, brittle constructions. But in this dream, I'm in a hurry, so Snake lets me pass. It smiles as I note a memory it evokes some sort of wooden toy I had in the past. And then the scale-free snake actually nods me goodbye. Another city block later, and I'm walking through a city I don't recognize, I meet a dream stranger for tea. We sip, and as I sip, I can see an ant in my cup, floating, lost and suspended in transparent liquid. Is it necessary to get a firm handle on that sort of dream? I'm thinking after I awake, should I challenge myself to turn it into a personal story, insert it into my memories like a card put back into an incomplete deck of cards? I worry that lately the promise of a coherent life seems to be receding further and further away after I have those kinds of dreams. They're like the silent fireflies in my backyard just after sunset here in this part of Tennessee. At my house in Alabama, my dreams and the huge collections of fireflies were thick and bright and reassuring in spiral patterns. But tonight, on this spring night, in this neighborhood, reality is slimmed down. It's just a few fireflies floating mournfully solo past my dark window, like dreams that can't remember what they were supposed to mean. Thank you. That's the first poem. Here's the second one. It's called Storm Surge. If you could squeeze your life into a poem, select its essence for slender lines, abandon what's left behind while the emotional storm surges against the poetic forms, you'd struggle to stand, to see clearly as the implacable truth tries to blow you down. But then, as you climb to higher ground, what you've salvaged barely fills a tiny paper stuffed into a pocket. So you should be ready to accumulate more to someday be abandoned, even as the weather report warns of more severity moving into Tennessee. And the lesson from this catastrophe? You must dance, sing while you run, while you flee. Thanks. And the last poem is called Possibilities, which is a poem about possibilities. Just because we believe it's not possible to starve on excess doesn't mean we're not starving. Just because it feels like we know too much, it doesn't mean we're not in the dark. And just because the light's in our eyes and it's bright as day doesn't mean we see enough to understand. Just because we don't want to understand doesn't mean that a part of us doesn't grasp the intent, what it meant when the rules were bent. As the guilty go free and the judgment comes down to free the already free while the bystanders flee. And yet, we're surprised to be confronted not by a wall, but a system of walls. And all along our maze of walls, the path is paved with the prayers to wall it all up. And the keening call goes up to hold it tight, revert to that mythical moment when we thought we were in charge, when we never considered what being consigned to a map of confinement would mean. And the whole time, a tinny voice from a machine calls out our position among the walls. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Gorgeous. Huh. Bridging the realm of dreams and manifest reality. The stories you weave. Thank you so much, Carl Lowe. Oh, Now, I am grateful to welcome back. Thank you so much for being here today, Linda Lodka.
Thank you. Okay, the name of my first poem is No Forgetting. His tongue is his poetry. I remember when he spoke, there was no paper, no pen, no forgetting. His announcement of autumn described shadows, how the sun shone, created elongated angles different from summer. His recollection of a first snow, how snowflakes drift down to earth, how he explained that the snow was a blanket to cover Earth's nakedness. His long-winded description of Earth's inhabitants, how they stare, then retreat to their structure. Some have no shelter, always makes me feel self-aware of my own privilege. His ever fanciful yet intriguing lesson influenced the way I carried my emotion, the way I perceived what I used to not openly admit. My poetry benefited greatly from all that I borrowed from those days of his reckoning, the stage he built. His precipice will be embedded forever in the mind of the girl he loves. Now the next one will get into the ridiculous. So I got to follow up Clyde. It's a true story about me standing up for my brother in his wedding. And you'll notice I'm really poking fun at a necklace I had to wear. So here it goes, amulet. Two sisters, seldom seen together, gorgeously garbed, raspberry layers, crinoline slips, attire for a ball, gingerly step across magnificent lawns. Their brother speaks his marriage vow. It wasn't their flowing gowns being scrutinized by onlookers that caused amazement. No, it was that black disc, an immense amulet, boasting faux gems strung on a choker, hanging precariously atop their collarbones. It swallows up their décolleté, this black badge. The sisters, devout to their brother, wear the bride's gift without question, wondering what mysteries this oracle holds. They hang their accoutrement on satin hangers upon a wooden dowel next to raspberry ball gowns, waiting for a hint, a sign as to whether their peculiar talisman holds an ancient omen, one that could transmogrify right here in the cedar chamber. And I've never read it to my brother or sister-in-law because they might hope it hurt their feelings. And here's the last one. It's kind of short. It's just kind of one of those dreamscapey type of poems. If it isn't real, it would be nothing at all. It is desire more than adoration stealing my attention. Even practicing will not improve the chances. It swarms with self-doubt, yet blossoms like hope. It manipulates my brain as if hanging on every word. Scholars, muses, poets authenticate every line. The words talk to me from the page like reassurances gone awry. I hear the voice read, I memorize its flavor. No aromatics, no citrus, no healing balm or cleansing sage can lend its purity to the sanctity I embrace. It thrives on time and its passing. To vanish is to perish. This inspiration is a continuum. Reality is not an anomaly. It is a subtle belief more than human hearts dare hang their life on. Thank you.
Wow, your tone is riveting, first of all. But, oh my goodness.
Thank you.
With the words you craft. Thank you. Just potent and transportative. Thank you so much, Lynn.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, amazing to hear you. Oh, all right. And welcome also. Oh, fantastic. Yes. Hi, Caroline. And next we get to hear from. Thank you so much and welcome, Rhoda Thomas.
Hello. First one. Do you know how to choose your side? In rounders, no one wanted me on their team. I couldn't catch or hit a ball or run very fast. But on the barricades, I'd be good at making the sandwiches. And when people get tired or despairing, I'm good at letting them just be with that. I don't G them up. I know the value of rest. Only in the cocoon can we gather our strength and emerge to fight again. Do you know how to choose your side? In meetings, I wasn't allowed to take sides. They wanted me to let everyone say their piece, have an equal turn, 3 minutes each, or pass round the talking stick. But on the barricades, the time for talking has gone. Even if you think the other side may have a point, this isn't the time to listen. This is the time to choose your side and throw the bloody cocktail. This one I found today that it's funny how sometimes you can write a poem and completely forget you've written it, you know, and this one I must have written sort of during the last 2 or 3 years of, you know, staying indoors a lot for the pandemic. It's called What If This Emptiness Never Goes Away? What if this emptiness never goes away? This defending myself against the fear that people I love might die of COVID or of the 101 things that could assail them. This imaginary nonchalance that the loss of them, so utterly profound, would be bearable and not unexpected. What if this emptiness never goes away? This mist, this fog that invades every silent street, my footsteps carrying me past the trunks of trees whose spindly branches I can barely see in the gloom, the quiet of suppressed rage behind living room curtains and front doors. What if this emptiness never goes away? The space I try to fill with nips of wine and dark chocolate, the hollow I try to stuff with cheese and olives and fruit. No more exchange of recipes or laughter over culinary disasters. No more phone calls to the now dead. What if this emptiness never goes away? The phone that used to break down the isolation at either end, long established patterns of speaking that needed no particular craft, voices that ran along cables under the oceans that divided us. There is no telephone line that will reach you in the hereafter. What if this emptiness never goes away? I drive through the mountains along the edge of reservoirs, round hairpin bends. Death seems to float in the vast expanse of water, to crash down the sides of the weir, comes close as I swerve past tourer vans, convertibles, Harley Davidsons. And yet, though near, it does not touch me. I drive and drive, but the emptiness goes on and on. What if this emptiness never goes away? I fold clothes, change laundry, dry winter rose petals. I sort photographs, tax receipts, appointment cards, repair the doll's house, a suburban house with sloping eave, broken roof, torn wallpapers, scuffed paintwork, and the little light switches don't work anymore. Maybe if I can bring this childhood home back to life, I will come alive again. What if this emptiness never goes away? I stretch up to reach the ceiling, but it's too far, but the effort extends me and I breathe more fully. I bend at the knees and bring my arms round in a huge sweep, fingertips touch at the apex. I stand on tiptoe and I breathe a little more easily. Friends suffer. Landlords are brutal, the benefit system is harsh, lockdown drives everyone mad. Other friends celebrate with families in their gardens, in restaurants by the sea, arm in arm, glasses in hand, flowers in their hair. Pity and envy tear in 1,000 different directions, but I am still inside my head, inside my body, inside my house. I make tiny tables and chairs, a bed, a chest of drawers, miniature potted plants by the doorstep, a life for these little people who have been locked in boxes for too long. Maybe through these tender rituals, I can come alive again. Today on my walk, a one sun breaks through the clouds and I see red-brown buds in the spindly stems and breakthrough shoots of green. A woman comes out of her house and nods.
Sage missives from genius poet Rhoda Thomas. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Reeling, reeling. Oh, yeah. Okay. Y'all moved me so far. Thank you. Yeah, it's like the secret recipe, magic formula for compassion delivered in poetry. We next welcome and thank you, Greg.
Here, y'all. This one is called God of the Sky, God of the Sea. A note on spirit and will. I'm stunned by some seekers searching for the darkness or light. How simple is the revelation that we may hold both in a way inside? That the magic is made when we sway the scales from one or the other side. It is a balance we must seek, see, not only empty air or in the deep of the wine dark sea. So much is said of spirits and will, so many names, so many things to distill. What of the essence, though, lost amid the great fancies? What of the notion that we have some choice, that we needn't be given all the answers? What of the indwelling spirit of your own? What of the will of your choosing to forget all that for some immaculate vision? What is it that you are then gaining or losing? The essence of what is seen as good, the bonds of mothers and sisters and brotherhoods, of order born from chaos made into freedom and peace, of healing and caring and crying, always the most for the least. That spirit is a part of us all, only more or less easily seen, more or less easily chosen. That is essentially the key. So within us may be chaos and swirls that neither mind nor heart can rightly decipher. Indeed, the inclination toward fear and anger and shame has its use, but here's this choosing again. The dark and light, more or less easily seen, what spirit might move one's will, whatever spirit the will most embraces. So what then of the one or the other? What steps are more proper for our paces to view it all in a divine kind of eye beyond what we perceive as divided by time would be to see that there is a time to waste and a time to thrive. That the balance and dance is what we see as divine. One can say the darkness is what defines the light. One could say without a light that there would be no darkness to find. Each one half wrong where the other half is right. Who are we to find fault with such an intricate design? To claim that one might praise the darkness as a rule over the other side is just as blind as thinking one can see with only the light. What should be tools used to navigate, we worship as idols of love or of hate. Training the way the heart and mind can relate, holding one over the other until we hold it as we will the other way. What happens is not to be blamed on some external thing. It is we who can heal and we who can choose the path of our pain's pursuit. A dark heart must turn to wisdom and light for its guidance, but too, a light that is shown too brightly provides not vision, but blindness. There are good and bad ways to be brought to one's knees. One determines oneself, which one will come to need. The choice then remains as the challenge and the leading. The answers are inside us of that secret we're all seeking. The words we need to hear are often words that we ourselves will hear ourselves speaking. Don't wait for the truth, for you were made to make it be. Sometimes one might even have to write a letter to oneself just to try to get through to me, as I am reminded to ride upon the tides of balance, one eye toward the airy heavens, one warily on the wine dark sea. Perhaps we are to click, to fly, and to dive, being so clearly better suited to glide on the waves and be swayed by the breeze.
Oh, Greg Slade with our mantra and our meditation this evening. Thank you, Greg.
Thank y'all. That's God of the sky, God of the sea.
Indeed it is. Well delivered. Thank you. I felt the emotion in that as well as the meaning. Thank you, Greg. We are now welcoming back. Thank you. Hello and hooray. Ed Poetastic.
Because you made me feel fantastic. Thank you for your wonderful words. So bombastic and enthusiastic. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's ready for some fun underneath the wonderful, lyrical, and poetic sun. Great. The fun is just begun. My name is Ed Potasco, and I feel fantastic. Please give me time to enjoy my rhyme for I feel sublime. I got two pieces, so you know it's going to rhyme. My first piece is called Anything from a Mermaid. I sail the most furious tides, anything for a mermaid. Oh, anything for a mermaid. I skin the most ugliest hides, anything for a mermaid. I even swim to the other side, anything for a mermaid. Oh, anything for a mermaid. Riches and love I can provide, anything for a mermaid. I slay a monster 12 feet wide, anything for a mermaid. Oh, anything for a mermaid. I don't really care, I almost died. Anything for a mermaid. I even toss away my pride. Anything for a mermaid. Oh, anything for a mermaid. I even take salt in my eye. Anything for a mermaid. I even take everything in stride. Anything for a mermaid. Oh, anything for a mermaid. I even fight with both hands tied, anything for a mermaid. I even live with my heart dry, anything for a mermaid. Oh, anything for a mermaid. I even get on the water's rise, anything for a mermaid. I even climb a steep landslide, anything for a mermaid. Oh, anything for a mermaid. I even take her as my bride. Mermaid, where did you go? Oh, mermaid, where did you go? Oh, mermaid, where did you go? I said I love her, yet she didn't reply. Oh, where, oh, where, oh, where did you go? Thank you. I got one more. This is called We Can Rise. We can rise. Oh, pain, don't be upstrained. We can rise. No pain, no gain. We can rise. Fear, don't let it be contained. We can rise. Experience can't be disdained. We can rise. Break out those mediocre domains. We can rise. Destroy your heavy chains. We can rise. Use your colorful abyss brain. We can rise. Chug it down like tasty champagne. We can rise. Down the hungry life's drain. We can rise, spread it across the plains. We can rise, eat the very bitter grains. We can rise, meaner hearts should we slain. We can rise, ride the rough, dirty lanes. We can rise, run the spiky terrains. We can rise, control the hellish trains. We can rise, drink the acid rain. We can rise, embrace your messy stains. We can rise, time won't be in vain. We can rise, our trials make us more humane. The more pain we suffer, the better we can rise. Push on, go on, live on. Please don't suffer and complain. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As a fan of both mermaids and rhymes, I thank you for sharing your message sublime and also so uplifting with us.
Thank you. Thank you for being so blind. Thank you for giving me the time, and thank you for letting me rhyme. Your interject words are so divine.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful to hear from you. Well, I do believe this may bring us to the last speaker on our open mic tonight. And it is with great honor I welcome Abigail Waddle. Thank you.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sounding great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm totally new here. This is my first, yeah. I just started writing, getting into poetry like a month ago. So just be forewarned with that. And I do apologize. I'm getting like over, I've been sick, so I sound a little bad. But anyways, this first poem is a little sappy and dramatic. So yeah, it's just bear with the like sappy emotions in this one. It's untitled right now. Anyways, here goes. I can't say the words, and you might already know, but if I don't say the words, at least the outcome I'll control. Maybe we'll play oblivious, even if generations have known. Maybe even before Shakespeare, you'd think we would have grown. We're given umbrellas, even though I love the rain. We hide in the shade when we yearn for sunny days, or hide the sunbeams with curtains only to turn on the lights. Yet we shut them back off when we stay up all night. So how can I say the words when it hurts enough to think? How can I expect you to care when you already care for so many things? Like that past car of yours cared so much you let it crash, or that brand new phone you'd thrown and let crack. Your favorite food of yours you never finish and let rot. Your favorite person I want to be, but alas, I cannot. I'll stick to loving loving aloud I won't do. I'll stick to loving my wants, since loving our halves is terribly askew. Loving my want is far less than enough. In honesty, it is painfully worse, a terrible curse. But loving my want keeps us safely secure. Loving my have, while it would feel much better, would surely lead to neglect, forget, no matter, the aching first kiss that's been long overdue, or my loving with actions you're likely used to. I must keep you as close to forever, so loving aloud I simply won't do. I'll forever continue, forever deny. I can't say the words that I love you. Yeah, so that's the first one. Thank you. The second one's a little shorter, less rhymy. It's untitled as well. I never understood how it felt to be him, how effortless it was to act so cruel, until one day I was fortunate to have landed upon you. And as we walked next to our reflections, I saw your beautiful face and his staring back at mine. And then I have one more. I just wrote this yesterday or the day before. This one's titled Mental Candids. I want proof of the laughs I made, starting in your belly and ending with your throat, bursting through your lips with a little twitch or a boisterous choke, glistening in your eyes with a little twinkle or fat tears, crinkles in their corners and dimples spreading ear to ear. But give it a few seconds, maybe minutes if I'm lucky. I'll watch your face return to normal, adjusting right before me. Quickly now, absorb their face in all their natural glory. Candid photograph with my eyes, stored in my backup memory. I have proof. But a few seconds, a few minutes won't be proof enough. Give me days, give me weeks, no, give me months. I need years. I want to see a lifetime of twinkles and crinkles and tears. Our seconds are beautiful, our minutes are pure. Yet before I know it, the proof has disappeared. It's silly the precious pain I choose to endure. How conflicting it is to realize my mental photo album must suffice. As most memories do, I watch expressions fade, and nothing's left behind with seconds or minutes. So rewind and play back, I must start again. Our little movies play away. I guess we've shared weeks, maybe even months, but I won't be happy until I see some lasting evidence. But what are the chances I get to treasure you for years? How lucky will I be to share a lifetime with my peer? Years of laughter from your belly, escaping through your throat, bursting through your supple lips, that cute little twitch, your loud and dorky choke, the same glisten in your eyes, maybe the twinkle reveals the years, painting your face with the same familiar tears, crinkles fill your eyes, and the dimples greet your now long ears. I hope that someday I'll have more than mental candids to view. To actually have proof of all the laughs that I create and the overwhelming love I'd feel watching them not fade away. And that's it.
Ah, that was palpable. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Ah,
you.
Yeah, you are performing some alchemy there in your poetry.
Oh,
It is dazzling and incisive. Oh, thank you for bringing that here. Please come back. If it's good for you, it is so good for us. Thank you.
oh, thank you guys.
Yeah, it's excellent to hear you. And yes, keep writing and please keep sharing, putting the words into the world, letting them catch the wind and spread. Ah, y'all, thank you so much. You know, it gives one another permission to share when we are truthful about what we have to share. You know, that helps us project our voices out into the world in the other necessary ways we must as we navigate these days. Thank you all so much. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that we all unmute and say goodnight. That was our open mic list for tonight. And thank you all again. We'll be back next month.
Oh, how wonderful this has been.
Yeah, it's great.
To
Excuse
each
me, I'm
of
leaving.
you.
Everyone have a great weekend.
Good. Take care.
Take care.
Good to see y'all.
Writing.
Good to see y'all.
Bye. Bye.
Soon.
Good to see you all. It's been a long time.
It's fabulous.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Write some good shit. I can't wait to hear it. Goodness.